What is going on, everybody? I'm Lawrence St. Victor. Welcome to Just Geeking Out. On Sundays, I usually go live with my cousin Chris. We talk about all the geek things, but since it's Easter, we decided to take the day off. I'm pre-recording this video. You already saw the thumbnail. You saw it already. I said it. I said it. This movie, James Gunn's Superman, is going to be amazing. And it probably will be the best Superman movie slash anything ever made, not including comic books, of course. That's the source material. Before we get any further, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I go live every Sunday, me and my cousin. Sometimes it's just me, but I talk about all the geek things. But today, we're talking about Superman. All right, so James Gunn just released a behind the scene featurette that gave us so many images, that gave us so much video, gave us more context to this movie. And if you're a Superman fan, you should be through the freaking moon right now. This is the best thing ever. It's going to be the best movie ever made, Superman wise, based off of everything they've given us so far. So I'm not completely glazing over this film. Based off of everything so far, it is safe to say this is going to be, like I just said, an amazing Superman movie. Doesn't mean that the movie won't come out and they won't totally screw it all up and the whole thing will just fall apart from the beginning to end. Plot could be fragile. What we thought we liked, we could hate. We don't know yet. We'll find that out in July. But based off of all the things we have, the images, the interviews, the behind the scenes featurette, there's no reason to believe this movie won't be chef's kiss. Let's take a look at what we've been given so far. So, there's been a whole lot of interviews, right? Hey, I want you to see me, but I want this to be that's much better. There's been so many interviews with the cast. You know, we had CinemaCon where they sat down, and the way they talk about this movie, they talk about that it's about hope. And it's about Superman, a man who wants to do good because it's the right thing to do. So they're really getting down with this hopeful, heartfelt, optimistic Superman, which is a departure from the Snyderverse. Now, I'm not hating on Snyder. I actually liked Man of Steel. Batman v Superman, a little less. The Justice League did not like it, and definitely liked the Snyder version of Justice League. So I am not a Snyder hater, but his version of Superman was a guy who's going to go through all the trials, who will eventually become the Superman that we know. We just never got a chance to see it. Whereas Gunn, from what I'm getting so far, it's like he's born this way. He is just a good person. He is born to do good. If he had no powers, he probably would be a doctor or a police officer or a fireman. He's born to want to help others. So it's really good to hear these interviews and see the featurettes and I mean just look at the guy. David Cornsweet looks like Superman. He just does, and I don't understand the haters. I think I saw someone say he looks like Timu Henry Cavill. He doesn't. He looks like Superman. So did Henry Cavill. So did Christopher Reeve. So did Tyler Hoechlin. So did Tom Welling. Brandon Ruth, they all look like different versions of Superman. And he looks like Superman. And James Gunn told him while he was preparing for the role to get bigger shoulders and to work on his vulnerability. And to me, that spoke volumes. It's, of course, get bigger. The physical presence of power of Superman, it has to be there. But then he said, work on your vulnerability. because Superman is empathetic. He cares about people. Christopher Reeve, Superman 2, when he's fighting Zod, he yells out, please, the people. That's what he cares about. And it looks like James Gunn is honing in on that. Let's share some more pictures. This featurette was really cool, man. And just right here. I mean, that's just beautiful. That's freaking beautiful. Hold on. I want to get it bigger. No, not me. Uh, okay. We'll do it this way for now. I apologize. But just look how beautiful, I mean, this suit looks. Now I will say, the suit has grown on me significantly. Uh, that is the one thing I'll give you for those of you who hate this costume because they took liberties. They took a lot of liberties. It's a mix between the classic and New 52, and of course the Kingdom Come logo. And it's a departure from what he looks like in the comics as far as classic Superman. So if you don't like the costume, yeah, fair, fair. It took a while to grow on me, to tell you the truth. You know, the first image we got of him in the suit, it took, I mean, I really wasn't feeling it. Uh, I didn't know what I was looking at. It was shocking. I was expecting something based off of everything James Gunn was talking about, All Star Superman, back to kind of that classic hopeful. I was expecting something like really pulled out the comics, not spandex, but you know what I'm talking about. So when I saw this, I was like, this looks rubbery and baggy. I don't know. And then the Kingdom Come logo, like we saw an image of that before this. And I was like, why the Kingdom Come logo? Why? Why? But I loved what was going on in this image, which was a man putting on his boots. He's a good man going to work. And that is something that we can all relate to, that providing for your family, taking care of yourself. You know, we all know what it's like to just put on your shoes and go to work. So the first image he gives us of Superman isn't like, you know, like this. It's doing something we all do. We put on our shoes before we go to work. So I loved what the image gave us, but the suit took a while to grow on me, man. But then we started getting these behind the scenes pictures, and oh, the colors, the colors won me over. It won me over completely. This image right here, I was like, I'm in. Take my money. Take my money. I'm in. Oops. Take my money. I'm in. Look at that. The cape, how vibrant it is. It's back to that Christopher Reeve color. I say even more so because Christopher Reeve's suit had a kind of like a greenish tint to distinguish him from the green screen they were using, or sorry, the blue screen they were using. So these colors are like, I mean, they're perfect, right? And that's what won me over. That S on the back of the cape where it belongs and the colors. Now, I will say that Cavill's suit, I think, is the best Superman costume we've gotten. But the color, like, I didn't realize how much I was missing the colors until I saw David Corn sweats in live action because, you know, we did get this in Justice League, but so much of his muscles was protruding out because, you know, he didn't know how to light it properly. So it looked like he was almost wearing one of those Tim Burton rubber suits because it was supposed to look like this. You know, just Joss Whedon didn't light it correctly when he took over. So we got these darker suits or these weird looking suits when Joss Whedon took over. And then Tyler Hoechlin showed up, and I love his costume, but again, dark again, which is fine, you know. But, I mean, to see to see him in his colors is just amazing to me. And I didn't realize how much I missed it, you know? Ah, man, chef's freaking kiss. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm on board. This suit has grown on me, and it definitely has. But I understand if you don't like it. I get it. I do. Um, we got some more things in this feature, man. And I mean, look at Nicholas Holt as Lex Luthor, and he's giving us it reminds me of the best version of Lex Luthor we've ever gotten. And Gene Hackman was a wonderful actor. It wasn't him. It wasn't Kevin Spacey. That was kind of the same thing as Gene Hackman. It definitely wasn't Jesse Eisenberg. It was Michael Rosenbaum, this young Lex Luthor. A Lex Luthor who's not too far in age than Superman. So that's the vibes I'm getting here. It's almost like this is what it would look like if Smallville became Metropolis. So I'm digging everything about this, and I just love the energy they have on this set, man. We got Superman, and just a wonderful images of them shooting. Oh, look how good this stuff looks, and Lex, and I don't know what kind of version of Lex he's going to give us. I don't know if he's going to be more comical. We don't know the tone, but based off of everything so far, the dude looks like Lex Luthor. And then we get the Daily Planet. Oh, and I mean, this, I don't think there's been more perfect Jimmy Olsen than what we get right here, man. And Rachel, she spoke about Superman and Lois's relationship in the interview at CinemaCon, and she said how they both are similar in wanting to do good, but where Superman, I guess, is more black and white. The world is beautiful, everything is good. I'm here to make the world a better place. Lois is a little bit more cynical. She sees the details. She understands cause and effect in a way that Clark doesn't. So it's really cool to see these different characters who have a different way of seeing the world, but ultimately want the same exact thing. And they're together. She said that they're together in the film. She knows Superman is Clark Kent. It's not an origin story. So we're coming in probably like maybe year two, and they're redefining their relationship, trying to figure out what it is. And I'm all for that, man. And just the look of the Daily Planet. I mean, Perry White, Cat Grant. What is that? Ron Trope in the back, Lois Lane. Like it feels like this Daily Planet is a character, right? I mean, and I'll say this about Batman v Superman. The Daily Planet just kind of felt like a regular office building, where this feels like it's a part of this world and an important part of this world. And I'm loving everything about these characters. Um, Let me see, and again, like Jimmy Olsen. Like his hair is red. He has freckles. Like this film is feeling real comic booky in the best way. Like there's nothing to dislike about this film outside if you hate his costume. But I'm telling you, this thing is growing on me. These shots we got are just amazing to me. Um, and that again, that Daily Planet, it feels like the comic book. Uh, and I don't know how you're not excited about this. Like, I understand if you grew up watching the Zack Snyder films and that is your Superman. And this is quite the departure from that. But you got to understand, Man of Steel was quite the departure from the comic books. And when he's in the featurette, you see how when he crash lands in the snow and everyone's like, that's CGI, that's CGI. They shot that on location in the snow. There's an image of one of Superman robots and it's practical. We got an image of Metamorpho and it's not CGI. Like that's a suit. It's a practical suit. I love the way this looks. The trunks are interesting. We need to see how that works. But I mean, there's just so much good to take from this. I don't see how anyone is seeing a bad movie here. Not to say there won't be a bad movie, because there might be. But so far, right now, I mean, this thing is cooking. This thing is cooking because they talk about the heart of the man. I mean, that's what it comes down to. The heart. That's what Superman is. He's heart. And I went a little back and forth with this guy on TikTok a little bit because he said that people complain about Man of Steel and how it's not comic book accurate. And he gave all the examples of how Superman killed Zod in the comics and other examples why it's comic accurate. And my debate really wasn't whether or not Man of Steel is comic accurate. I don't need any of these movies to be comic book accurate. I don't necessarily need to see a depiction like one for one of page to screen. If I've already read it, I don't need to see it that way. I want to see a director's interpretation of the character, but I want to see their interpretation of the character. And Zack Snyder, I'm not saying he doesn't know comic books. I'm saying that when Superman let his father die in the tornado in Man of Steel, that is a difference in the character. Because a man who can do that doesn't grow up to be Hope. There's a lot of trauma behind it. Just imagine you let your father die in a tornado. You have super hearing. You hear his bones crack. You hear him gasp for breath. You hear his heart accelerate because of the stress and then decelerate because he's being destroyed. You don't just grow up to smile and wink at the camera. You know, that's some traumatizing stuff. And I feel like that part of Superman's history that Snyder played around with would ultimately change his character from here on out. He is going to be doubtful. He is going to be more cynical. He's carrying this pain of going through that, which is very different than Christopher Reeve's version, which is his father died of a heart attack. With all these powers, I couldn't save him. He understands humanity. He understands how fragile it is. So when he becomes Superman, he is loving and he is hopeful and he sees how beautiful human beings are because we're so fragile. He says, like, if everyone can see the world the way I do. And I think that's what we're getting with David Cornsweet, with James Gunn as Superman. We're getting back to a guy who is a beacon of hope in a world that is cynical. You know, in a world where apparently there's already superheroes around. You know, I mean, Hawkgirl looks dope. Can we talk about this real quick? Hawkgirl looks amazing. And I love how, you know, her and Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, they all wearing these similar costumes, probably working from Maxwell Lord, showing the difference between heroes that are controlled by an organization versus Superman, who is for the people and won't be controlled, doesn't need a brand, which I love. So we're getting a world where superheroes already exist, and Superman, in a world where superheroes already exist, Superman is a beacon of light and hope for them and everyone. I mean, that's what I'm getting by what they've been giving us, which I think is quite amazing. And we got what other images do we have here that I haven't shown you yet? But I mean, the preview has it all, man. It really does. And I'm very excited for this movie. If you can't tell already, I think Superman is in good hands, and based off of everything they've given us so far, there's honestly no reason to think otherwise. Not to say a trailer won't come out tomorrow that'll reveal some stuff, and we'll all be like, "What?" Or we'll go to the movies in July and be like, that did not work. That's very true. But like I said, like I keep saying, based on everything they've given us so far, we got a banger right here. We got a freaking banger. And Zack Snyder, let's talk about the costume, because that's like the biggest point of contention, which I get it and have it, please. But Zack Snyder, I mean, James Gunn said that he didn't want Superman to look like he was in a wet t-shirt. And that really made me think about it. In real life, Why would he wear something that tight? Like, really, he doesn't have to. Why would he wear something so skin tight and so thin that you would see every crevice of his muscles? When you think about the character, especially the way he's drawn an all-star Superman, he doesn't he wouldn't want to be imposing. He wouldn't want to scare people. He's the kind of guy, and I don't know if Ma Kent made this costume, if the Fortress made this costume, or if it's Kryptonian clothing. It'll all be revealed when we watch it. But I like the idea that Superman is going out of his way to take off some of the fear that he must get from people, especially when he first started, because he is a god-like person who shoots lasers from his eyes. He would wear a costume that would be bright, colorful. It fits him, but he's not trying to scare you. When you look at him, he wants you to feel at ease. And I get that from this costume. I love Man of Steel's suit. Outside the colors, I think it's the best Superman costume ever made. But if he drifted down, that dude is intimidating. He is scary. Him, of course, if he's flying, it's a little scary. But him, no, I can see this version choosing a suit that takes away from people being scared of. I would love a scene if Lois or someone's like, why the briefs on the outside? And Clark is just like, so they're not scared of me. Just that simple. Um, and if it is Kryptonian, then it makes sense why it would have padding and stuff like that, because people on Krypton didn't have powers. Or if it's earthbound, it needs to be a material that can sustain what he's going to put it through. So far, I'm on board with this suit. We'll definitely get another one. Of course, I want it more form fitting. I don't need to see abs through it, though. But okay, I'm rambling now. Obviously, I love this. I love everything they're doing so far. The featurette really sunk it home for me. Their interviews at CinemaCon just really sunk it home. Like, this is a movie about hope. It's going to have humor. You saw crypto, and people got upset about the crypto, thought it was too funny, and I'm like, guys, when he was brought to the fortress, it said he had like 14 broken bones. His kidney was punctured. His liver is like, failing. His lungs are like messed up. Before we get microphone cut out there for a second, my bad. But I was saying, before we get that levity with crypto, we see this man get his butt whooped. So maybe that levity is in there because we just saw a hellacious battle. I'm speculating, but you don't just crash land to Earth without getting your butt whooped. And then we go see him go into the fortress and he's screaming in pain. So the dog probably give us some much needed levity in that moment. And for those complaining about Superman screaming and in the sun, his bones are being put back together in real time. He is not sedated. Superman does feel pain. Something needs to be big enough to make him feel pain, and obviously there was something big enough to make him feel pain. So he's literally awake to feel his bones bring itself back together again. Like his body is healing, and it would hurt. And if we're going to talk about Batman v Superman, Superman survived the nuke. First up, Superman was unconscious while he was healing. Second, Superman was drifting in outer space, close to the sun, and he healed unconsciously. This Superman is completely awake, isn't in the atmosphere, so they got to bring the sun to him in crazy amounts. He is screaming in agony, and I absolutely love it. I love seeing a Superman
Because that's the biggest complaint, right? That Superman is too perfect. He's too strong. He's overpowered. Well, James Gunn has given us Superman. He didn't depower him, but it cost. It cost him something. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I just wanted to jump on here and just gush about this movie and gush about the featurette. I'm so excited. I pre-ordered my DC Multiverse Deluxe Edition Superman figure with the crypto. Let me know if you guys did anything as well. Let me know how you feel about this movie. Thank y'all so much for watching me just ramble, because that's what this is. I didn't really have much of a plan. Just want to go on and on about this thing. And yeah, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll be back. Same super time, same super channel. Peace.